Hey, it's Marc Loftus, Senior Editor of Post Magazine, and I'm here in Las Vegas for NAB 2015, and I'm joined by Autodesk's Marcus Schioler. Marcus, thanks for joining us.
Hi, it's nice to be here.
Excellent. We got a little bit of a taste of some of the news that you guys are introducing here at NAB. You've got your 2016 releases across a couple of different products there. Do you want to start with 2016?
It's a big release. A lot of things that are going on that are very interesting in the area of look development, workflow overall with the application, so it's much more connected workflow now, and performance as usual. Flame, the experience is very much dependent on performance, and this is definitely true for this release as well. I think in the topic of look development, I'd like to point out one feature in specific, which I think is very innovative and exciting for our users. It's called Lightbox. And it's a tool that allows people to effectively cast color correction using lights in a 3D compositing environment. So if you think of a scene that's made up of 2D elements and 3D geometries and whatnot, using Lightbox you can then bring lights into the scene and have them color correct things with fall off and softness and use effects like lift gamma gain or bleach bypass or those types of common color correction workflows, but now directly inside of the 3D.
Within the compositing environment, not having to use a separate, more traditional color type of tool for that.
Exactly, where you would have the windows over a flat layer. So here you can actually, the reason that it's look development now is because we're talking about a scene which hasn't come together yet. And at this point you've got all of the different elements that are playing around in this 3D space, and being able to move the lights, affixing them to a location, having them affect the objects that are close to them, allow you to do things that are very innovative and creative. Mm-hmm. So that's one big thing. I think the connected workflow, Flame has always had this workflow between batch compositing, brainstorming in the reels, and the timeline. And with this release, the releases, these three areas have come together much more tightly. So it's more seamless for the artists, depending on what they need to do, to move between these parts of the application and do things in a way that's very fluid and creative, which is what Flame is all about. And then performance, and there are a number of improvements going on in terms of proxy handling, in terms of rendering out of action, in terms of exporting media. So there's a lot of new things going on in Flame.
Just on Flame alone, I know Maya has news as well.
Big news in Maya, yeah. Big release for Maya 2016. We're very excited. Again, performance is a big deal in this release. Performance, let me see, now I refresh my memory. Bifrost, thank you. Yes, exactly. Good memory from last night. And then ease of use was the last one. And I think, so we'll start with performance, because really, Maya is a tool that people use for animation workflows. And we've introduced improvements in terms of CPU, GPU optimizations, multi-threading, that provide enormous benefits in terms of interactivity and playback in the viewport for animation. So it's called parallel rig evaluation, and it provides people with just a much faster workflow when it comes to animating, as well as a tool called the Performance Profiler, which gives people a way of looking at where the bottlenecks are in terms of the various animation things that they're working on, and provides them with ways of then addressing those bottlenecks and optimizing their.
And you guys claimed it could be 2 to 5 times performance.
It depends on the situation, depending on what you're working on, but the performance boosts are big, and I think what we're seeing is the kind of thing that customers are going to want to get their hands on right away, because there's definitely advantages there. That's performance. Bifrost, another big one. Bifrost is our liquid simulation tool set, and for Bifrost, I think, there are a number of things, but definitely one of the big additions this time is the ability to add foam, froth, bubbles, that sort of thing, to create whitewater effects in a liquid simulation, which is very important in terms of giving that sense of realism. And another important feature there is something called camera adaptivity, which basically allows you to focus your simulation on the parts that the camera can see, as opposed to the entire ocean, or if it's farther away, then you put less resolution into the simulation. And if it's
an efficiency.
It's about efficiency and getting that simulation done more quickly. And then ease of use. So you'll notice that in Maya 2016 there's a new look to the UI. It's been modernized, the icons have been simplified, a little easier to understand, laid out. There's some rearrangement to some of the tools so that are easier for people to find now, which will aid in the discovery process around Maya. It's also scalable, which is important. So now, depending on what kind of device you're looking on, the UI will scale, so you have a good the ability to see what you're working on instead of having little tiny Pycons and large resolution monitors. We've also rearranged the look development tool set in Maya, making it kind of giving people the ability to bring together the tools that they need for creating their materials. Let's see.
We've got to get to 3ds Max too.
More. We haven't even talked about 3ds Max yet, so why don't we jump over and talk about 3ds Max. So on the Mac side, there are a number of things, again, in terms of ease of use, in terms of collaborative workflow, and in terms of procedural content. In terms of the collaboration, I think there's one feature to call out in specific, which is called XREF renovations. XREF is a workflow that multiple teams working on modeling and animation will use in order to collaborate. And with this version, we introduce non-destructive animation workflows, so that'll help a lot with those animation teams who are working collaboratively. Then there is, let me see now, what's the second one that I wanted to talk about? There's so much material to go over that I'm drawing a blank here now suddenly. No, but okay, so then I think the other one that I'd really like to talk about is something called the Max Creation Graph, which is a procedural tool creation environment, which will allow people to basically build tools that will modify, that can be used to modify their content and basically extend the capabilities of Mac. So this is something that we've seen the community rally in terms of using tools in the past that they can extend the capabilities with and then share them amongst themselves. And I think with the Max Creation Graph, we'll see the same thing where people can package up the tools that they create into compounds and then share them amongst the community, and we hope that will happen. We hope people will do some really exciting, innovative new things with this capability.
Yeah, very cool. I know based on our social media for Post, you guys were very successful with Smoke when you introduced the Mac version of it. I don't know if you necessarily have news at the show, but I want to ask just because our readers are real interested in it.
So we don't have any news about Smoke at NAB 2015. The team is working on something, and we hope we'll have an update in the not too distant future, but there's nothing at NAB for us to talk about regarding Smoke right now.
Okay. What about the recent acquisition of Tweak and Shotgun? Is there anything you want to touch on as far as that?
Well, yeah, so I think, that's a great point that you bring up, and actually our show theme at NAB is Artists Connected, and really that does speak to the creative capabilities that our artists using Flame, Maya, 3ds Max bring to the process, but it's also about how they need to work together in connected environments with their distributed teams, where they're collaborative, working on different projects in different parts of the world even. And so, that dynamic is very much why we wanted to bring Shotgun into our portfolio, why we acquired them last year, and also why we brought Tweak into the mix this year. And so at NAB we're announcing the new versions of Shotgun and RV. And I think there are a number of things that are new there as well, but a couple that I'd like to call out specifically is that integration between RV and Shotgun has gotten better. So now for people that have RV, it's very simple. They can share more simply with Shotgun, export media more simply with Shotgun. Also, Shotgun now includes RV, so for customers that do have Shotgun, they get RV capabilities for review.
No need to license.
Directly as part of their Shotgun, that's right. And Shotgun, in terms of ease of use, has been improved. Now there's some new templates that make it easier to start up your projects. So all this is coming out later. That's coming out later in April. The other products, Maya, Flame, 3ds Max, will be available April 16th.
Excellent. Well, Marcus, we appreciate you stopping by here, Post TV, giving us an update on Autodesk's news from NAB 2015. Thanks for joining us.